I put my trust in you. I'm not worried about my future. He will take care of me. Oh, my Lord, my Lord. Yeah, yeah. Trust in you. Oh, I'll trust him. I'll trust you, Jesus. I'll trust you, Lord. Oh, yes. Anybody out there trust the Lord with your hand? Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to thy own understanding. All thy ways acknowledge him. Oh, he shall direct your path. Just trust in God. You got to lean on him. You got to lean on him. Somebody lean on God tonight. Yeah. Come on, somebody lean on God. Oh, yeah. Lord, I trust you. I lean on you. I believe you, Lord. In you I trust. In you I trust you, God, yeah. In you I trust. Oh, my. I trust you. And I'll trust you. I trust you, Lord. Hallelujah. Lift your hands and shout hallelujah. Hallelujah. I'll trust. Can we sing that together tonight? Come on. Come on, just think about it tonight. I'll trust. No matter what the world say, I'm gonna trust God. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, no. Anybody trust God tonight? Say yeah. Say yeah. Trust him tonight. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Trust and believe. Trust and obey. Yeah. In him I trust. 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 Oh yes. In you I trust. Nobody else but you, God. In you I trust. In him I trust. In you I trust. Oh my. In you I trust. In you I trust. In you I trust. Trust and believe. In you I trust. Trust and know God is gonna do it. He'll do exceedingly abundantly above all that you ask or think, according to the power that worketh in you. In you I trust. Oh, but I'll trust in you. Hallelujah.
Through your story is my fingerprint. In the valley, there is confidence. In the shadow.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Well, hello. It's Wonderful Wednesday. It's the last day of the year. This is your voice, Elaine Lucas, welcoming you to Ask Elaine for the last time in 2025. Let me make that perfectly clear. My co host today is none other than Herbert Denard.
Hello.
And we're glad to have him. I'm glad he could pull away from his busy schedule. He does an awful lot in the community, and we're going to let him tell you a little bit about some of those things that he is involved in the community. We are expecting Senator David Lucas, who will be going into his 51st legislative session the second week of January, and we want him to talk a little bit about some of the issues that our local delegation, as well as the entire General Assembly, will be dealing with once they go into session. And those of you who are interested in attending a session of the Georgia General Assembly, especially the Senate side, if you will, in the chat, just let me know of your interest. Last year, we took 2 bus loads of people up for the beginning of the senator's 50th year as a legislator, and the buses were full. And we want to thank the folks here at Roscoe Tours, and we also want to thank Carlton Kitchens, who both provided the transportation for us to go to the state capitol. So if you're interested in attending, going along with us on a trip to the Georgia State Capitol during the legislative session, please let us know in the chat or just give me a call and we'll be glad to add your name to the list. We had a bunch of folks who were just, it was just a wonderful group. Randy Crawford has joined us. Hello, Randy. And also Vote Hatcher. Hatcher is going to be a candidate for the school board. So we're glad to have him on board with us. And see, I didn't touch a thing, Mr. Engineer. I read the sign. The sign says, do not touch any controls. And I do not touch any controls. But we do appreciate these folks are so kind to us. They come, they make the adjustments, they just do it for us. And we are just so pleased to be here at radio station historic WDDO with my friend Herbert Denard, and hopefully we will be joined by State Senator. Somebody's calling you, Herbert. By State Senator David Lucas. We want to talk just a little bit before we get into a discussion, Herbert, with you and with the senator. We want to welcome all of you. We want to say to you, Merry Kwanzaa. We hope that you've been participating in the series of Kwanzaa activities that have been going on in the community. George Fadil Muhammad has shepherded this whole thing along with Juneteenth through the many years of observances, and more people are observing Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is set up in a way that it reinvigorates people who participate in it. There is a focus each day, and we usually have George Fadil Muhammad on the show. I don't know what happened this time. I guess just what the old folks say, just um, something about my mind. Anyway, we still can have him on in January or February to talk about the things that occurred during this year's celebration of Kwanzaa. Um, Pastor Lisa Watson is the coordinator for the Evangelical Ministers Alliance, and each year they plan the Martin Luther King observance events for the next year. And she was on by phone several weeks ago, and we wish that if she's on today listening, we would like for her to kind of call in and recap those events. One, which is going to be tomorrow, the first day of the year. As a matter of fact, that one is the yearly annual Emancipation Proclamation ceremony. And there's one in Milledgeville where the Honorable Floyd Griffin will be the speaker. It will be at 12 noon. And then the observance here in Macon is going to be at 6 p.m. So if Pastor Lisa, once she tunes in, we'd like for her to call and just give us a recap of the events as she did a few weeks ago. Patrick Davis has joined us, and we're always happy to have him. Happy New Year to you. Again, Patrick, if you would recap for us in the chat the statistics on Senate District 18, just so we can review that, Herbert, and we can go over that and let you know how important that election is. Herbert, you have some opening remarks you'd like to make before we go into the election to fill the unexpired term of Senator John Kennedy?
I think we can win this race, but in order for us to win it, we have to get out and vote. The statistics show that if we turn out, we can win it. But the key to it is something happens within us that we do not or have not been voting like we should for the last 4 or 5 years. Except every now and then we'll do it, but we can win this race, and we could have another Democrat in the Senate,
In the
state Senate.
And the numbers are getting closer and closer.
And we could do it, but it's somehow we don't have the mechanism. We haven't had the mechanism. Back years ago, we used to have mass meetings, and we didn't even have brochures and anything. The word get out and it spread. A few people in a few churches and a few other things. We had packed houses.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago, by the way.
Yeah.
But now we was just voting, after the 64 Civil Rights Bill and the 65 Voting Rights Act was passed. But now a lot of us have gotten lazy, and we don't feel
and
that
comfortable.
And a lot of young people, I'm just not beat on young people today, but a lot of young people are not that enthusiastic about voting.
Yeah.
The largest voting bloc we have in our community is Black women.
Black women.
And but somehow the men right now are not voting like we should.
Yeah, that's true. This election is to fill the unexpired term of Senator John Kennedy, a Republican. He resigned a few weeks ago, and very, very quickly, the also Republican governor called for an election to fill his unexpired term and called for that election for January the 20th. There were 3 days of qualifying. And what the Republicans thought was that they would sneak it in, quickly call the election. John Kennedy would resign. And then the governor, also a Republican, would call for the new election to fill the unexpired term. And they set qualifying in 3 days. Week before last, it was 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and cut the qualifying off in the middle of the day. There are 5 Republicans who have qualified to run, and there's 1 Democrat. And you were able to hear from the Democratic candidate on last week. His name is Lamario Brown. He's a former council member from Fort Valley. His family is into farming. He is just a conscientious young man who works very hard, and we're very pleased to have had him on the show to talk about his goals. If you live in the 18th district, then you are being contacted to make sure that you go and vote. Early voting started on Monday, Herbert.
That's right.
There's only one early voting site, and that is the main office at the Macon Mall. You can go, if you're in District 18, then you can go and vote early. And we highly recommend that you go vote early, because things happen and you might be out of place on election day on the 20th. You might just forget about it, because that is the only race that's on this special election ballot. This election is called what they call a jungle primary, a jungle election, where all the candidates, everybody who goes to vote, you will see all 6 of those candidates on your ballot. And you'll see
they have Republican and Democrat.
They have Republican and Democrat beside the names. After each name, they have the whether that person's Republican or Democrat. There are 5 that you will see Republican after their names. There's 1 Democrat. We were able to catch on to what was going on and get a Democrat who qualified for this race. Georgia is so close to being blue, and this area generally votes Democratic. So if Democrats turn out, and Patrick has posted for us the areas in State Senate District 18. It's a 6-county district, Herbert, that includes all of Crawford County, Upson, Monroe, and Peach, along with parts starting at like the Toposophy area and going west, parts of Bibb and Houston counties. And so this district has a 40% non-white or minority population. So you know what that means. 40% voting in a block, 40% voting in a block. And you look at the percentages based on who actually votes, how many people actually vote. And so if the Democratic candidate gets 50.1 or more % of the vote, then that person wins it without a runoff. And that is what we need, because it's very, very difficult to avoid a runoff, Herbert. It's very, very difficult to avoid a runoff when you have 6 candidates in the race. So let's hope that the Democrats turn out in record numbers in that district. I believe, Patrick, last week you posted the percentage of Black voters, the numbers, and of voters in that district. Hatcher is posting information that is very, very helpful. So, we forgot to welcome those of you who tuned in on AM, FM, and those who are right here looking at us on the Glory Live. Ask Elaine. Um, Also, we've got the website for the Lamario for Georgia.com. That's Lamario Brown, who is the Democratic candidate, the only Democrat in the race to become our next state senator, going and representing us in Atlanta from Senate District 18, formerly held by Republican John Kennedy. We can flip this one. We can flip this from Republican to Democrat because generally Republicans do not do things for the people. They do things for themselves and for rich folks. And so that's on the national level. You see what's going on the national level, on the state level. There are so many discriminatory bills that are being passed every year, and they're just about ready to outlaw being black or brown. At least their actions show that. So I don't know what it's going to take for us to wake up and change course and force a change for the better for all the people. And we just appreciate all of you who have tuned in to this edition of Ask Elaine. This is our final one for 2025. We are so grateful to be here. I thank all of you who are praying for me. I am improving according to my test results and everything. And I am just so grateful because prayer does change things. Prayer makes a difference. And I know that people have been praying for me. They've called me, they've sent cards, they've sent other things. One person had a casserole, delivered a casserole to me. I mean, flowers, all kinds of things. So it just warms my heart that people are willing to take time to see, how I'm doing and to wish me well. And I thank you. Treatment is not over. The first of the year, I start back on the next phase of treatment. But as of now, things are looking so much better. And I do appreciate you. And I want to encourage all of you to please wear a mask. Flu, there's almost an epidemic of flu, and people die every year from flu. And you don't know who you're around who has a weakened immune system. And that means that they're more susceptible to getting your germs, to catching a cold or a flu. And in you might be able to fight it off. But in a person who's immunocompromised, which means they've got a weakened immune system, they are more susceptible and their bodies will be more impacted by colds, flu, COVID. COVID's still out there, y'all. And then there's some mutations of it, some differences, different kinds of strains of it. And so, y'all, please consider wearing a mask, not only for yourself to avoid getting what somebody, and measles too. Herbert, there are children dying from the measles. We thought measles was gone, but it's back because we got some nuts up there in charge of our health care. So you depend on what your doctor says. Talk to your doctor and do what your doctor recommends, not what these nuts up there are talking about. It's so ironic that RFK's great niece, I believe it would be, Schlossberg, just passed away from acute leukemia. That is the kind of leukemia that I've been diagnosed with. She just passed away, I believe it was yesterday. And just think,
How old was she?
She was 35, I believe, and just had a baby. And she was diagnosed with the baby not too long ago, diagnosed with leukemia. And just think, the Trump administration, along with her uncle or whatever he was to her, have cut out millions of dollars in research monies and direct funding of services for folks to possibly come up with a cure for leukemia and other kinds of cancer. Just think about that. It shocked me when I saw the millions of dollars right after I was diagnosed, and I saw the millions of dollars that were cut in research, but you can tear down a part of the White House and put up gold stuff and rebuild it to seat 1,000 people. Isn't that something? I'm wondering how long it's going to take folks who support him to realize that he doesn't mean them any good. I'm waiting. Hatcher says measles was gone from the Americas until very recently, and now it's raging. It really is. It's because there's doubt put in folks' minds as to whether they should get the immunizations or not, or whether the vaccines for their children. But you get with your doctor. Let your individual doctor, you deal with that. And please don't listen to what that nut from Washington is saying, because he works for the same one that said you just take you some bleach and drink some bleach and stuff. And then what was that other thing? He said some kind of medicine that you can take. And folks were actually doing that. That's ridiculous.
They tend to believe in him and they listen to him. And
that's very sad, isn't it?
It's sad that they are not reading, they are not watching other people give information. They believe about almost anything he say. I think they have found the connection that he is not very concerned about black and brown people.
Yeah,
and they are not very concerned
obvious
about black and brown people.
Right.
So they kind of take what he say and follow him. And I think it's all about us.
But don't you think a few of them had a change of heart when those SNAP benefits were cut off? Because more whites get these benefits than black folks. They don't. They don't. A lot of people don't believe that. They better start caring, because if you don't have food, lack of food doesn't have a race.
I know, but you take the farmers out there. He started these tariffs, and it's hurt them. The people.
That's right.
Started buying different soybeans from Brazil and some other countries.
But Herbert, not only that, but when you buy something online now, there is a fee on there. They renamed it, but some companies put down tariff fee, and they are charging you extra because it costs more for us to get these goods here. So everybody's paying.
There's no doubt about it, but there's a group of people in this country. Trump caused the farmers to lose millions.
Yeah.
And now he's giving back some money to them, but it's not going to help. Those people are gone to these other countries, and they're not coming back to America.
Right. Right.
So China's a big one. So, but my feeling is a lot of people in this country, white people, don't like black people.
Yeah. Yeah. And it looks like a lot of black folks don't like black folks either. We do try and kill each other, don't we?
Right. But they don't like black people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so they are side with Trump or anybody else that say something that hopefully is keeping us down. That's what they think.
Right.
And they would do it. And they don't believe anybody else saying anything else.
Right.
They believe in them.
That is why we've got to vote. The vote is we still have the right to vote. And if we don't exercise that right, then we might as well just go on and start marching back to wherever it is we want to, end up, because their plan is to get rid of all of us.
They want to make it very tough for us.
Yeah.
And I heard the person being interviewed on one of the networks, and the farmers lost all this money and they had it, but they say, but it hadn't worked out like Trump believed, but I believe it will.
See, they'll make excuses for him.
I mean,
they'll make excuses.
They love the man, and they buy Bibles from him. They buy all kind of gadgets they have, gold tennis shoes. They do all of that, and no matter, and they don't believe the basic networks. They believe in.
Well, you know who the people are that are the most loyal voters, the undereducated.
Right.
So a lot of people, that's why education is so important. Because if you learn certain things, you have a certain level of learning, then you don't fall for the okie doke.
But I think their dislike for black people is so strong.
Yeah, that prejudice.
And they will vote for somebody, and then he's scared half of the people in the Republican Party that they won't say anything about it.
Yeah.
Because he will retaliate against
He
them.
will. He knows no limits. The Supreme Court has said he can do whatever he wants to do. You remember a few years ago when he said, I could walk down Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and nobody would say. And we said, oh my goodness, he's just exaggerating. Nobody would do that. But he is shooting people out of the water off of the coast of Venezuela, murdering people, and folks aren't saying a thing. They're just saying, oh, well, that it's not over here. But how long will it be before these other countries that he's messing with? He's over there messing with Nigerians, blowing up folks there and all over. How long will it be before these folks retaliate against visitors, against folks who are on cruise ships, on all of these different things?
I think the end is gonna come, but we have to vote.
We sure do.
We have to turn out. But the sad thing about it is people do not vote in our community on a regular basis.
Right.
They don't get it. And at one time we used to watch the news at 6:00 every day.
Right.
People don't watch the news anymore.
We're watching something that's not going to do us any good. Patrick Davis, let's get back to the election, which is what's so very important. That should be top of mind for us in these days from now up until right before the election. And it's unfortunate that this is just one district, one Senate district, which means that you have to identify the people who live in that district, Senate District 18, and you have to make them aware because early voting is only taking place at one location. That's the Macon Mall at the main office. So people don't see the little flags and signs and things all over. A lot just go by the Macon Mall and they see the signs and then they say, election, vote for what? What are we voting for? But we've got to make folks aware that there is an election. We're working as hard as we can. So if you live in Senate District 18 and you get a call from me, or you get a call on a phone with a recorded message, please respond. Give me a call. I'm including my cell phone number so that you can call me back and I can tell you a little bit more and answer your questions about this election. But it's only those folks that live in Senate District 18, Tobosoffke, all that area out there, and then these other counties that Patrick has listed for us. There are 10 precincts in Bibb, which are part of State Senate District 18. You need to confirm your status. You can go online and Google My Voter Page, MVP, and then SOS, and it'll pop up, My Voter Page. You can put the first letter of your first name, and then your last name. You'll put your county, and then you do your date of birth, and it will tell you whether you're in the 18th State Senate District. And if you are, then you need to get ready to vote for Lamario Brown. Folks are down with Brown. That's one of the slogans I've heard. Patrick says right now there are 56 total state Senate seats. Democrats need to claim 29 seats in order to retake control of the state Senate for the first time in 20 years. And I'm going to give you an example of what can happen when you change and when you put Republicans in charge. Some years ago, our Senator David Lucas was chair of the State Institutions and Properties Committee. That was when the Democrats had the majority, Herbert. Mm-hmm. He was chair of that committee. He went around and he visited every prison, every halfway house, anything that was concerned or connected to corrections. And he and Michael Thurman, who was over the Department of Labor and Defects and all of that then, they worked together and came up with a plan for rehabbing, not just locking folks up, but rehabilitation, which involved job training, education, all of those things. And it was a wonderful plan. And I saw him visit all of these different corrections facilities all over the state of Georgia. Well, they worked on the plan, they had it all laid out, presented it to committee, and were about to implement it. And guess what happened? The Republicans took control of the state house. And all of the chairs who were Democrats were booted. They lost the chairmanship. Republicans took over. Guess what happened to that rehab project? Guess what happened to the job training and the educational training that was planned for those prisons, for the prison system? Mm-hmm. It was scrapped. The Republicans got rid of all of that. And all they wanted to do was to see people, poor people and disabled people, have to work in order to get that 25 cents per month. That is what Republicans do. And so I would encourage you to make sure that you vote right. It's a matter of life and death, because there are people who could care less about you if you are black or brown. So if we form a coalition, now the LGBT folks need to wake up as well, because Trump doesn't like you either. He could care less about you as a person. They don't see you as a human being like they don't see black and brown folks as a human being. So you need to wake up and form a coalition with black and brown folks, because we've all got our lives depend on this, because there's as much discrimination against LGBT folks as there is against black and brown folks. So we've got to realize what's important for all of us and work together. So if you live in Senate District 18, you need to be a part of the progress. And this is a winnable seat. It's going to be hard. There's got to be a good voter turnout. But there are going to be people coming to your door. There are going to be people coming through your neighborhoods. There are going to be people who are, and I know the Republicans are listening in to Ask Elaine. So they're listening in to hear what we're talking about. But, if they don't get it from the program, then we got some handkerchief heads that'll run and tell them anyway. That's what Maynard Jackson used to call folks who always felt like they had to go to massa and tell something, which I guess lifted them up, gave them a little additional standing. But anyway, Hatcher says, I had several friends who were let go from the Center for Disease Control. Good people. Many were fellow guardsmen. Oh, Hatcher is a guardsman. He's getting his campaign stuff in there, isn't he? He doesn't know whether he wants to fall on over into this Democratic vat or stay up there on teetering on that libertarian thing. He needs to come on over to the Democratic side. He's a Democrat. But Patrick says there are 56 total state Senate seats. Democrats need to claim 29 seats in order to retake control of the state Senate.
How many do we have now?
I don't have that number. Patrick, do you know how many senators we have in place that are Democrats? Now, I'm sure Patrick will he's putting his computer brain in it. But
we was talking about the person running for the Board of Education.
Kia Booz, welcome to Ask Elaine. We were talking about who?
The person running for the Board of Education. What's his name? Who's
Reverend McLeod. Oh, you're talking about on here. His last name is Hatcher.
Okay, Hatcher is running as a no. They don't declare themselves. Who would he be running against?
He, I believe, will be running for one of the at-large.
You don't
seats.
know which one?
No, I don't, and it will be May when that election takes place.
I mean, is the person he's running against, he or she is already in office?
No, we don't know. One of the at-large school board seats, there is an incumbent in there, Lisa Garrett. She has a different last name, and the other one is an open seat that Darrell Morton is in, but it's open. He's term limited, can't run. He served his 4-year term, so he can't run anymore. So that's an open seat. So we'll have to wait and see when qualifying takes place in March, and we'll know what he's running for. But once we get past this election, I was trying not to confuse anybody. There is only one race coming up January 20th, and only those folks who live in Senate District 18 can vote in that district. So that's why we want you to go to my voter page. If you know that Senator Lucas is your senator, then you're not in the 18th. You're in the 26th senatorial district. So we want you to be very clear. But now, just because you aren't a voter in the 18th does not mean that you don't have cousins. You have all kinds of relatives, church members, and all of that live in the 18th. So what we need for you to do is to make that contact. If you know some people who live in Lizella, out the Tobisaska way, out that way going west, you know some folks who live in Peach County, you know some folks who live in Monroe County, some folks who live in a portion of Houston County, and there were a few others that Patrick had listed for us. Anyway, Crawford, Olive Crawford, Upson, Monroe, and Peach, and then a part of Bibb and Houston. You know, people who live in those areas, check with them and ask them to check their voter status. My voter page at the Secretary of State's office. See if they're in Senate District 18. And if they are, they need to be voting early. Find out in those other counties where your early voting site is or sites, and go vote early. Get it done. Get it out of the way. Bibb County is the largest population center in state Senate District 18. We have 38,000 total registered voters. 15,000 of those are non-white. And I'm saying those who are white need to be voting for Lamario Brown as well, because you get the same increases in your utilities. You get the same environmental impact when folks are allowed to do what they want to with the land and water and all of that. Our state senators determine a lot about the quality of life in all kinds of areas, the environment, in economics, in our standard of living, education, public safety, all of those. So it's important that we elect the right folks to office. And right now, that's the Democrat, Lamario Brown in Senate District 18. And I know I've said that about 20,000 times, and I'm going to say it another 20,000 times. Let me go on to the other. We have Kia Booz. Thank you for tuning in. 10 precincts in Bibb County. Yeah, I'm trying to make sure that I relate to you, those who are listening on AM and FM. Um, due to Trump's tariffs, China and other countries are not buying America's farm products such as soybeans. Yeah, yeah. um, how much time is left in the term once the election is over? Well, the time this election would be from May, it would be up until the end of the year. Then there would be another election. Y'all, Patrick, correct me if I'm wrong on that. Randy Crawford says there are 23 Democratic senators now.
And that means how many seats we got to pick up? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I think they said 29 or I'm trying to find
he
out
says
how many.
We need to claim 29
so it's
seats.
23.
Now that something's
6
wrong
more
with those numbers. Patrick, would you check your numbers and just give us how many Democrats there are in the Senate, the total number of senators, and then the number you've already told us that you need 29. So is that 29 more seats, or what do we need to do? He reminds us that there are 2 at-large seats on the Bibb school board. But focus on Brown, according to Carrie Hatcher. Focus on Brown. There are 6 precincts in Houston County and State Senate District 18, which includes parts of Warner Robins, along with all of Centerville and parts of Bonaire. So if you know folks in those areas or folks who are listening, please be aware that State Senate District 18. Now, you know that the Republicans have their plan in order. They have their plan and they're working their plan, and they're going to spend lots of money. But thank goodness the state Democrats are also putting resources out there. They are advertising for canvassers to go and to talk person to person with people and get them out to vote. So y'all need to help by giving your vote. If you have relatives in any of these areas, you need to contact them. Herbert, you have a question that you want Patrick to answer concerning the Senate district. We're really focusing on this. It's so important.
What I wonder is, Patrick, I don't know if he had the resources in front of him to do it, of how many people in the Senate are black and how many are white.
Okay. Patrick, you have all that?
What I'm wondering is, most of the time we talk about people, Democrats and Republicans, but most of the people in here that's elected are black Democrats. I just don't know if
the majority of the Democrats in the Senate are black, but there are a number of white Democrats.
See, white folks, what it's come down to, white folks in Georgia tend to vote Republican. Mm-hmm. It's not many white folks that run, whether it's in the state legislature or the state Senate. The majority of the people in both of those positions are black. But I just wonder how many whites do we have there? We somehow, after Roy Barnes lost, everything switched over. I used to go to the state capitol, and David Lucas he was a state representative then. He had a real big office. Mm-hmm. And after they lost, the Democrats lost, he had a little small little place.
Well, it's not so small now because of his seniority, but you are right. Right. When things change over, a lot of things change over.
Right.
What your location in the Capitol or over in the legislative office building, just a number of things.
See, white folks tend to vote Republican. And that's because of Trump. They started before Trump. they at one time we had the head Democrat was, what's the guy's name, Murphy.
A long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah, Murphy.
We had a lot of white Democrats then. And then things switched. And all the white Democrats, most of them got beat because they identified with black folk.
Yeah.
And everything changed.
But I think with a lot of the things that are coming out of Washington, a number of people, Patrick presents this information. He says he believes 16 of the 23 state senators are black. And I would think that 20 years ago, a few white state senators, especially in South rural Georgia, flipped and went from Democrat to Republican. You remember Ozell Miller did. They called him Zigzag Ozell. He was former governor. He switched and went up there and spoke to Republican convention. Anyway, Republicans mentioned at the debate, this is from Kerry Hatcher, the Republicans mentioned at the debate that they can't lose this seat because they are already limited on passing certain things due to the slim majority. And so over in the House side, I think that majority is slimmer and slimmer. That's why I'm saying that Georgia, this is a winnable seat if people vote. As you have just said, Herbert, people have got to vote. If they don't vote, then we might as well just go on home, sleep on through a little while longer, sleep through.
Our problem is that we are not reaching younger voters.
Voters, yeah. And for a long time.
A lot of them are not even registered.
Right.
But even those that are registered are not turning out like they should.
Well,
unless we somehow make them feel they need to vote. We're going to lose not only this race, we're going to lose a lot of races.
You're right. But here in Macon, I am so pleased to see that there are a number of younger folks who are involved with the Democratic Party and working actively. I was at an event Saturday where we were writing and signing postcards to send to the voters in Senate District 18, and there were some younger folks there too who were participating, and that is a good sign. And the program that comes on at 5:30 after this program called The Village has a number of younger folks who are listeners and participants in the conversation. I would strongly encourage them that while you're working through the problems that you have as far as older leadership, that you consider what's at stake and how close we are to flipping this thing, to changing it and making it better for all of us, including young folks. And we have a lot of work to do as far as bridging the gaps between the young and the older folks. But we are still all in this thing together, and we have got to work together to come up with solutions. And we can't do it if we're fighting each other.
The dynamics that taking place all over the city. At one time, as you go to church now, most of the folks in church are old folk.
Yeah.
I mean, people
in some places now.
In
some other places, there are a lot of young folks. It depends on the program.
It depending on the program. And what I'm saying is we have to do something like some of the churches. For whatever reason.
You're right.
Whatever reason.
Janelle Mathis says, amen. You got to have something for everybody.
If you go to Beulah Land Bible Baptist Church.
Let's not start calling names.
I'm just saying you'll see a lot
that is one of the ones.
You see a lot of young people there.
Yeah.
You go to Union Baptist.
You
see a lot of young people there. You go to my church.
And the thing is, Reverend Stanley is not a spring chicken. He's not an old rooster, but he has a huge combination of all folks at that church.
Then you have a number of churches. I'm not going to call out their name.
No, let's not call out anymore. We're already in trouble.
Right. But they have nothing but folks old about to lay over. You know, it's not that many there.
Right.
And so the churches that got young people, they need to try to get involved and try to do some leadership in this position, because we have too many churches that have nothing but old folks, and they sing the old hymns, and they do a lot of other things like that, and they hardly have nobody there.
Okay. Patrick says in the state house, the magic number is 91 seats in the state house. Right now, we are currently at 82. A few white state senators, especially in South rural Georgia. Let's see, where am I? Oh, so this is attainable for Democrats to retake the state house and the Georgia General Assembly altogether, but it's turnout. And I say, when we go and touch folks, we go out and canvass and we speak to people one-on-one or a small group, and we convince them that their future depends on their actions, then we are successful. And plus, people are not asleep. They see what's happening on the national level. They see what's happened on the state level. Now, Kemp might grin and might not be as bad as Trump, but deep down inside, his policies are the same. And he has appointed folks, and the others have appointed folks to the election board to suppress the vote of Black and brown folks. And women.
How come they can't suppress you?
They can't suppress me. I can't be suppressed like that.
So if you have activity going on,
we got work to do.
We got to do a lot of work if we want the people to turn out and vote.
Well, Janelle Mathis says, please exercise your right to vote. Let your voice be heard. And I'm with you, sister. If we don't do that, and we're at a point now, whenever
I'm not that concerned by Black women.
Black women, but you grab that man and take him on too.
But a lot of Black men are falling short in voting.
Well,
I mean, I'm not just talking. You could statistically look it up. Black women vote not only in Macon, Georgia. They're the biggest voters in the Democratic Party all over the country.
Carrie Hatcher is funny. It says, I've been recently informed that I'm no longer a spring chicken. A lot of us have reached that realization that, we're not spring chickens anymore, but we still can. I mean, we still need to do some pecking. Is that a good?
Yeah, but we need to somehow motivate, encourage, or something to reach young people. These old chickens are going to be laying over and dying, and new people be around, and they're not doing. A lot of them are not doing something. Somehow, it's not happening. If you look at who votes, you see a lot of old folk on the ballots, and a lot of young folks that should be on the ballot are not.
Right. That's why we have got to bring each other along. We've got to work this thing together. And we can't let other folks have our young folks to turn against our mature people, because that's just not going to work. That works for the enemy when we turn against each other. So we've got to realize that we can't succumb to that. It's called divide and conquer. You divide us up, you have us fighting against each other. And so other folks don't have to worry about us. You have us shooting and killing each other, and other folks don't have to do it. They do their share of it, but they don't have to do as much of it because we just take care of their business for them.
About 27 or 29 people were victims of homicide this year. And last year was 39. Mm-hmm. The year before that, it was 40-something. So the number is coming
numbers
down.
are better
The numbers
due
are
in
better.
part to Just Walk Away,
Right.
I believe, and the other Macon violence prevention programs. Many of those programs were excellent.
Right. So we are coming down, but when you look at the entire thing of the 27,
Pastor Lisa has joined us. Hey, Pastor Lisa, if you get a chance, we're about to run out of time, but if you'll call us and do a recap of just a few of the events that are coming up in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King, starting with tomorrow's event. If you'll give us a call, we'd love that. Let's see. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Herbert.
No,
you say I cut you off every week. Sometimes you have to be cut off. Go ahead, Herbert.
But the thing is, we got to do better.
Much better.
This is the point I was making.
Okay.
Before you cut me off.
Okay.
I'll say about 27, only 2 persons killed this year in Macon, Georgia, was by whites. White people killed each other twice. Black folks killed each other about 27 times.
Yeah.
And we still got a long ways to go. The city, the size it is, and every person killed this year was a white killing a white or black killing a black. But black was the vast majority of people killing each other about small things.
You're right.
Somebody playing loud music. Somebody was killed this year for that.
Yeah.
They got an argument about it. Somebody's dog pooped in their pansies.
Herbert, we've got a phone call. Caller, is this Pastor Lisa?
It is. Hello to you both.
Thank you for tuning in. We've got 5 minutes. Can you take 2 of them and talk about the event, especially the one going on tomorrow? Kara Hatcher wants to know about that event that's happening tomorrow.
Okay, yes, we kick off on January 1 with the Emancipation Proclamation Service each year, sponsored by the EMA, endorsed by the Macon MLK Board. January 1st, 6 p.m., we'll be at Bellevue Baptist Church at 4041 Montfort Road. The host pastor is Pastor Derek Thomas, and our new president is a member there, Reverend Minnie Hollingsworth. She'll be being installed on that right before the service starts at 6. She'll be installed at 5:30. So we invite everybody to come out to the Emancipation Proclamation Service that kicks off our annual January event celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And then you can also get the rest of the announcements on Channel 13. We'll be screaming it. I'll be on there.
That's great. That's great. Ava Jean Sullivan Henderson has joined us, and she wishes everybody a good New Year, good New Year's Eve. And she's in favor of Brown, Demario Brown for Senate District 18. I hope she and her husband live in the 18th so they can vote. And she endorses what we have said about the flu raging, wearing masks, and she encourages us, Herbert, to keep on keeping on. We thank her. Pastor, as always, we want to thank you for all that you do in this community, you and Dr. Butler and the Evangelical Ministers Alliance.
How long does the EMA president last? 1 year?
The EMA president serves a 2-year term?
2-year term.
2-year term.
The last president was exceptionally well.
Yeah, Pastor Leon. Ward. Yeah, he's very good. Pastor Hollingsworth is going to be excellent as well. They've had some really good folks to lead the Evangelical Ministers Alliance. Our pastor, y'all are going to be at historic Stewart Chapel AME Church this year following the Martin Luther King March.
That's right.
Who's
We'll
those?
culminate at Stewart Chapel. Was the 877 Forsyth Street? Host
887
Pastor Dr.
Forsyth. And two speakers. Who are those speakers?
Well, we want to thank God for Dr. Wanda West being our host pastor, and two
Oh
speakers
yeah,
will
that's my
be this
pastor.
year. We'll only have two speakers that will only speak for 10 to 12 minutes, so we won't be long up at Stewart Chapel this year. The two speakers will be D.A. Anita Reynolds Howard and Professor John Dunaway from Mercer University, the
All
beloved
right.
community. So we're
Sounds
looking forward to
wonderful.
that. Also, M.A. Evans Youth will be there with us as well. You know, we like
Oh,
to
of
keep the
course,
youth
they're
in
always the highlight. And we've got to pay
right.
tribute to Lily Ruth Gant Evans too, because that lady has been on the battlefield a long time. Now you're talking
Well,
about
you
a
know,
warrior. When they
yeah, you
used
know,
to boycott
she's a drum
downtown,
major.
Pastor,
Yeah,
when they used to boycott downtown and backwoods Negroes would try and go in a store, they did something to them to like I would have done if I were Harriet Tubman. I think I'm reincarnated, a reincarnation of Harriet Tubman, because she carried that gun and she said, "You Negroes turn around if you want to." Then I've got my gun. I just like her spirit. But Lily Ruget Evans is that same kind of. She has that
yeah,
Harriet
she's a drum major.
spirit.
She's a drum major for just,
She
she's one of the
is.
first. Yes,
She
she's
is.
one of the
Yeah.
first.
All right. Thank you so very much for all that you do.
Happy
And we
New
will
Year.
see you tomorrow at 6. Happy New Year to
All
you
right,
too.
Happy New Year.
Herbert, Happy New Year. And Happy New Year to all of you who have been so loyal to Ask Elaine. And we'll see you again in the new year, 2026. Continue to pray for us. We'll pray for you. We'll see you again next Wednesday for another edition, 2026 edition of Ask Elaine.